Unit 3, Chapter 3, Test Correction for Math 7, number 7. It's the last problem of the test. Without a calculator, find the following quotients. So what we wanted you to do was basically draw, since we taught it to you to draw. And I remember only like one class being taught how to do KCF. I'm going to show both ways just in case it might help some people to understand better on how to divide fractions. But I'm going to go ahead and show you by picture first. So let's get started, okay? 2/3. The way we draw 2/3 is pretty simple, and it is simply thirds in a rectangle and shading 1, 2 parts, 2/3. I'm going to try to draw half. Oops, I should use the same size rectangle. So let's try that again. So half is going to be like that. So cut it in half. There it is. Okay. As you can see, these are not the same size portions within a whole. Okay. So what we needed to do was we needed to cut this in a way that would be identical to one another. I'm going to go ahead and fix this so it'll be aesthetically easier for you to see. I'm going to cut this long ways in half and shade just the bottom half. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut both of them to see how many of each parts do we have. Okay, so I'm going to cut 2/3 into half, just like this one right here. Okay, and then I'm going to cut, and I'm going to group, no, let me try this again. I'm going to cut this half into thirds to show that it's in 6. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. This is 3/6 because I have 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then right here, out of 6 pieces, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces shaded. Okay. So if we were to divide this, what it's basically saying is that every groups of 3, 6 is going to be made a whole. That's how we're going to divide this into. So if I have 1, 2, 3, they make a whole 1. And then what will be left is 1 piece out of 3 parts that would make it a whole. So it's 1 1/3. That's your correct answer. Okay. If you weren't sure how to do that, you could have done this 4 divided by 3, which was Madison's method when we were doing the lessons. And 4 divided by 3 still gets us 4/3, which is same as 1 1/3. You could have done it either way and it would have made total sense. Sorry about that thing. All right, let's try another one. Right here, I'm going to show you the KCF method. Okay, 2/3 divided by 1/2. Okay, what I told you to do was basically this. You needed to keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and then flip KCF, like KFC by KCF, okay, and flip the last fraction into its reciprocal. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this and follow those directions. I'm going to keep the 2/3, change division to multiplication, and flip 1/2 to 2/1. Then we can multiply straight across and still get the same answer, 4/3. Okay, it's one of those things that you learn as a trick. It's not something that we like to encourage, but if this makes sense to you, all power to you. Keep trying it, and whenever you see dividing fractions problem, I hope that you hold on to KCF. All right, my last lecture. One thing I learned from the video is I needed you to tell me what you learned. Did you learn that you needed to draw pictures for both of them, 2/3 and 1/2, and cut them the same way? Did you learn that when you're dividing with common denominator, you can drop the denominator and write them just with the numerator like that, 4 divided by 3, and still get the same answer? Did you know that? If that's the case, make sure that you stay so in this statement right here, please. If you never knew how to do KCF before and you use KCF on this one, I will be okay with you showing that, but I'm not okay with you just saying one thing I learned from the video is KCF. I'm not okay with that, and Miss Fu will probably not be okay with that. We need you to state KCF is one of the ways that we can solve fractions with this, dividing fractions. You can say that. Something about KCF that you learned. After you do keep, change, flip, you need to make sure the second fraction is flipped and the operation is switched or changed from division to multiplication. Be clear about what you learned about KCF. Do not just write, one thing I learned from the video is KCF. Tell me what part of KCF you learned, okay? Thanks everyone. Hopefully these videos helped.